Marabou jig, one of the easiest and most effective jig flies that I know of. It's very popular around the world. Let me show you how I do it. It can be as simple or as ornate as you want, but I find that this version is the easiest and also, to me, just as effective. So we anchor our fly tying thread with about 5 wraps of thread. As I've covered in previous videos, we flatten this part so that the material will sit more evenly and there won't be a bump here to separate the materials. Now, 4 marabou feathers, then you stack one on top of the other. You know there's a curve. This one is going to this side. Make sure they both sit along the same curve. And what are we aligning? We are aligning actually the tips. See the tips? We actually want to make the tips at the same height. Okay, like this. Then we pull it flat. This is one side of the marabou fly. You now can decide how long you want it to be. I think let's do a smaller one. Once you know that you want your jig to be this length, some people will strip off the feathers here, but me, I don't really think that's necessary. It actually provides more area for the glue to adhere to the fly. Okay, let's do this side first and then the other side. So this side, anchor it with soft wraps. Make sure it's sitting properly. Evenly spread. You can use your fingers to just kind of spread it a little bit. Okay, now you do a couple more tight wraps. Take this part, trim it off. Don't have to be flush. Leave a little bit for the wraps to hold on to there. It also allows the glue more area to stick to the feathers. Okay, can be very OCD and clip it very neatly if you want. Okay, so you see after I wrapped, if you notice after I wrapped, the whole thing has moved because of the tension from the thread. So we just try and move the materials back. Okay, that's better. Okay, now we do this side. Again, you take 2 marabou feathers, make a note of where they curve, and you align the tips. If this side is curving up this way, then you curve this side the other way. Or you can make it flare out and the other side also flare out. It's up to you. I prefer to do it this way. It's just preference. I've tied both ways, but once I noticed that once the feathers get wet in the water, it doesn't really matter. They just form like a tube anyway. They only flare out when you stop moving the jig. Okay, so about there. Now we hold a couple of light wraps so that you can move the material around the hook shank. Okay, once you are happy, go ahead and tighten everything. Okay, now snip. Three more very tight wraps. Make sure the material hasn't moved. Okay, now we can do the crystal flash. Personally, I use 3 per side. You can either anchor it here or here. I prefer on top. So how do we do it? Anchor it here. Make sure that the ends are about the same length. Pull it tight. Position it on top, as centered as you can. Okay, at this point, I like to pull it to about the end here. About the same length as the marabou or a little bit longer. Then I use my scissors to separate 3 strands per side. Now I pull them to the side. There's another method where you attach the crystal flash directly here and on the opposite side. I find that way it's not as durable because this way the middle of the crystal flash is anchored to the thread, whereas the other way they're just loosely held by the thread. Okay, let's do super glue. Just enough to saturate the thread. You know it's there when the thread goes a little bit translucent if you're using clear thread or white thread like me. Okay, at this point you can actually tie off and start fishing it. But if you want to go a little bit further, some people tie red crystal flash at the bottom. Some people tie a collar, so let's do a collar. Come to the top. This stuff, I don't know what it's called. It's probably crystal chenille. Bring the thread down to the base, anchor it off. You're actually anchoring the chenille backwards. Now you can advance your thread to the front. If your vise has one of these, now's the time to use it. Anchor the thread on the eye of the hook. It helps when you start to rotate the fly. Okay, as far as possible, try and get the chenille to face backwards, not forwards like this. So just give it a twist. One. I like to wiggle it. It seems to help the fibers not get trapped by the thread. That's enough. We can tie it off. I like to make all my tie-offs on the top here. It's a little bit neater. One. If you have one of those fly vices, right, like the Renzetti range where they have a spring here, that's where you clip all this material. It doesn't get in the way. Okay, snip it off once you feel that you have enough anchor, and then a few more wraps. Try and hold the material backward when you do your wraps, and then tie it off. Okay, pull it tight, snip it off. You can snip off the stray ones front if you want, doesn't really matter. Super glue. Just enough to saturate the thread. Not too much because it will harden the materials. Okay, that's your marabou jig fly, ready to go.